Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Srila Prabhupada, Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Gurudev, Gurudev. Jaya Gurudev, Jaya Srila Gurudev. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Ananta Koti Gaurav Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Grandra Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I think Lingaraja Prabhu. Just a suggestion, if you can mute everybody, other than Amrita, Keli, Mataji, can you please mute everyone?
Okay, ISKCON Naperville is yours. Okay, everyone is on mute, Mataji, I think. I will just.
Okay. Yeah, you can check once. Yeah. Okay, now they are. Now everybody is. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. So we are starting, we're continuing our reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 5, Text 17. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vasadharmam charanambujam hare bhajanna pakotapate tato yadi yatra kvava bhadramabhudamushya kim kovarta apto bhaditam swadharmata. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurumritam Vena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manavishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayan Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavansha Shri Bhutam Sadhyatam Sahagana Raghunadanitam Tam Sajivam Sadhaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Bhagavan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanutamscha Shri Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Bhakta Kanchana Gaurang Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kata Sindhubhyev Cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namani Namaste Saraswati Deve Gurvani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Pashnatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. These verses, as we are discussing, are very, very important. They're Narada Muni is glorifying the devotion service and asking or requesting or condemning Vyasadeva for giving importance to all the other things like karma and jnana, all those processes, but not enough.
There's one quick request. Voice is slightly low, I feel, because I put full volume, but still I could hear very hardly. And also, who is that? Who am I? Maybe can they identify, please? That would be.
I'm still trying to figure it out. Who am I, Prabhu?
Okay, Prabhu. That's fine. Okay. Hare Krishna.
So I'm doing from the laptop and putting the closest. You want me to do it from phone or? I don't know.
If others it's okay, Mataji. Yeah. Fine.
Speak a little louder.
Slightly.
And number 2, maybe next time use a headphone.
Oh, okay, sure.
Can you speak a little louder? That will be fine, I guess.
I'll be sorry.
Yeah.
Lingaraj Prabhu, can you please mute everybody from your end?
Mataji, is this better now? Okay, maybe Lingaraj Prabhu is on mute.
It is not better. Okay, I think you just have to speak up, Mataji.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, just do like Nagar Kirtan until we figure this out.
Anyway, I have a loud voice, so I think that should be okay. Yeah. So these verses, they're glorifying the devotional service, and this particular verse, I have heard very, very important and hope-giving verse for the devotees. The particular reason, I mean, I can relate to that. What happens? Like, okay, I'm doing this. I'm neither in material life or not in spiritual life. So what happens to me? So Narada Muni is giving such a hope to, I mean, instructing Vyasadeva, but I say, I was thinking for all us devotees. So we'll keep going with that in mind, that it is really for us. Translation. This is text 17 of chapter 5, canto 1. Translation. One who has forsaken his material occupations to engage in the devotional service of the Lord may sometimes fall down while in an immature stage, yet there is no danger of his being unsuccessful. On the other hand, a non-devotee, though fully engaged in occupational duties, does not gain anything. As far as the duties of mankind are concerned, there are innumerable duties. Every man is duty bound not only to his parents, family members, society, country, humanity, other living beings, the demigods, etc., but also to the great philosophers, poets, scientists, etc. It is enjoined in the scriptures that one can relinquish all such duties and surrender unto the service of the Lord. So if one does so and becomes successful in the discharge of his devotional service unto the Lord, it is well and good. But it so happens sometimes that one surrenders himself unto the service of the Lord by some temporary sentiment, and in the long run, due to so many other reasons, he falls down from the path of service by undesirable association. There are so many instances of this in the histories. Bharat Maharaj was obliged to take his birth as a stag due to his intimate attachment to a stag. He thought of the stag when he died. As such, in the next birth, he became a stag. Although he did not forget the incident of his previous birth. Similarly, Chitraketu also fell down due to his offense at the feet of Shiva. But in spite of all this, the stress is given here to surrendering unto the lotus feet of the Lord, even if there is a chance of falling down, because even though one falls down from the prescribed duties of devotional service, he will never forget the lotus feet of the Lord. Once engaged in the devotional service of the Lord, one will continue the service in all circumstances. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is said that even a small quantity of devotional service can save one from the most dangerous position. This is the Svalpamakhyasya Dharmasya Trayate Mahatodhaya. There are many instances of such examples in history. Ajamila is one of them. Ajamila in his early life was a devotee, but in his youth he fell down. Still, he was saved by the Lord at the end. So maybe quickly we'll spend like a couple minutes just trying to understand the potency of the devotional service, and this particular statement really caught my attention. So even if there is a chance of falling down, because even though one falls down from the prescribed duties of devotional service, he will never forget the lotus feet of the Lord. So this is so beautiful, and giving so much of hope, and particularly seeing all the examples from the scriptures. Here Prabhupada is quoting Bharat Maharaj and Chitraketu, and I'm also thinking of Gajendra. I mean, even in the elephant body, he's able to remember. He's able to remember the lotus feet of the Lord and be able to offer such eloquent prayers in spite of being in such a body. So that can really give us so much of hope and enthusiasm to happily continue in this process in spite of, I mean, whatever is inside the heart, all those Amritas staring at us and saying you don't have a hope. So, I mean, there is so much to speak in this verse. But because of the time, we'll quickly move on. Yeah, Ajamila is another example. Even though he fell down to such a, fallen state, like doing all kinds of simple reactions, but just that holy name and his previous devotional services, Lord has arranged that he could name his son as Narayana, and arranged that he would call him at the end of his life when he had to face the Yamadutas. So that's really so beautiful for us to continue on this path and the glory of devotional service. We'll move on to text 18. तस्यैव हेतो प्रयतेत कोविदो न लभ्यते यद्भ्रमतामुपर्यथा तल्लभ्यते दुःखवदन्यतः सुखं कालेन सर्वत्र गभीररंहसा. Persons who are actually intelligent and philosophically inclined should endeavor only for that purposeful end, which is not obtainable even by wandering from the topmost planet Brahmaloka to the lowest planet Patala. As far as happiness derived from sense enjoyment is concerned, it can be obtained automatically in course of time, just as in course of time we obtain miseries even though we do not desire them. Okay. Every man, everywhere, is trying to obtain the greatest amount of sense enjoyment by various endeavors. Some men are busy engaged in trade, industry, economic development, political supremacy, etc. And some of them are engaged in fruitive work to become happy in the next life by attaining higher planets. It is said that on the moon the inhabitants are fit for greater sense enjoyment by drinking somarasa, and the Pitraloka is obtained by good charitable work. So there are various programs for sense enjoyment, either during this life or in the life after death. Some are trying to reach the moon or other planets by some mechanical arrangement, for they are very anxious to get into such planets without doing good work. But it is not to happen. By the law of Supreme, different places are meant for different grades of living beings according to the work they have performed. By good work only, as prescribed in the scriptures, can one obtain birth in a good family, opulence, good education, and good bodily features. We see also that even in this life, one obtains a good education or money by good work. Similarly, in our next birth, we get such desirable positions only by good work. Otherwise, it would not so happen that two persons born in the same place at the same time are seen differently placed according to previous work. But all such material positions are impermanent. The positions in the topmost Brahmaloka and in the lowest Patala are also changeable according to our own work. The philosophically inclined person must not be tempted by such changeable positions. He should try to get into the permanent life of bliss and knowledge, where he will not be forced to come back again to the miserable material world, either in this or that planet. Miseries and mixed happiness are two features of material life, and they are obtained in Brahma Loka and in other lokas also. They are obtained in the life of the demigods and also in the life of the dogs and hogs. The miseries and mixed happiness of all living beings are only of different degree and quality, but no one is free from the miseries of birth, death, old age, and disease. Similarly, everyone has his destined happiness also. No one can get more or less of these things simply by personal endeavors. Even if they are obtained, they can be lost again. One should not, therefore, waste the time with these flimsy things. One should only endeavor to go back to Godhead. That should be the mission of everyone's life. This purport is so beautiful and giving such an impetus to devotional service. We are, all of us are anyway striving and working, but what is that we have to work for? And I mean, it actually makes sense for me as I'm thinking, when we are putting some effort, like, okay, I'm spending this much money, so what am I getting in return for? So I'm spending this much time, or I'm spending this much energy. What is that in it for me? So if we are really thinking of our selfishness, we have to be uh, we have to be really aiming for that purposeful end, which is not obtainable, which is very, very rare. And my thoughts are also going to, just yesterday we were discussing in Nectar of Devotion introduction about this material happiness, which is so temporary, the bhoga tyaga. We cannot continuously enjoy. We'll enjoy and then leave it for some time. We have to keep going back and forth. And also it's flickering. Each of us have that experience, but somehow or other we again and again go to that. But this particular verse is saying whatever efforts, whatever time, whatever energy we spend, it has to be really aimed at such a highest thing. And it's also fortunate for us, and I'm feeling very grateful that we have got that opportunity. We have the knowledge of this devotional service for us to really aim for. So 7:20. Maybe if any of you have any thoughts for sharing. Hare Krishna, devotees.
Haribol Mataji. I was thinking the association, the on the first verse what you read, because of the not having a right association, there is a lot of fall downs happening. And you referred to deer, referred to others, etc. But in this Kali Yuga, especially nowadays, we don't have to. Even we're all quarantined, lockdown. We are at home, but the association, we are thinking that we're in, we are doing a deity worship, we are doing chanting, we are doing this, we are doing that. But in the phone, we have Facebooks, we have internet, we have TV, so many others who can disturb us, right? So this is, even though I'm not seeing TV, my children are not seeing TV, whatever it is, video games, etc., etc. See it is not my family, your family. In general, I'm just reminding myself that, even though you look at the Facebook or my Guru Maharaj's lecture, some other lecture, if you just go a slide, there is something else in Maya. It's very, very difficult. That's what I see and realize, oh my God, even though I go to Facebook to see my Guru Maharaj's lecture or some other's lecture, there is a next slide, something Maya. It's very, very tempting, and then it's very difficult. And wherever you go, the Maya is there. So that's why the only prayer I was thinking, recently I heard, Krishna, I'm yours. Please engage me in devotional service, and please protect me from this illusion, Maya. This is the prayer. Prabhupada in 1972, Prabhupada told Niranjan Maharaj. Niranjan Maharaj asked, Maharaj, what should be our prayer every day? And Prabhupada said, this is the prayer, that please protect me from this illusion. So this is I know this is important for all of us, that we are thinking that we are great, we have mercy, we have everything. But anytime the illusion might come in, even in spite of, think about Bharat Maharaj coming to that stage and he fell down. So the illusion is more powerful, especially in this age of Kali. And so we should jointly pray that we should be free from illusion. Thank you, Mataji.
you want to say something?
So I was thinking, Mataji, suddenly, I mean, when you are reading the first verse, the purport, I remember one discussion between Prabhupada and the reporter. A reporter will ask, Swamiji, what if there is no God? Right? So, I mean, then Prabhupada says, what if there is a God? Right? I'm engaging some, enjoyment. You're also doing it. So, I mean, if there is a God, I will be safe. But if there is a God, you're not safe. If there is no God, okay, I'm also safe. You're also okay. Right? But if there is a God, then I am safe at least. Right? So, I mean, Salpam apiyasya dharmasya. I mean, that's what, suddenly the thought came. So, I mean, even if somebody thinks that there is no God, there is nothing wrong in performing devotional service. Right? So, that came suddenly. So, I would like to share.
Just be on safe side. Hare Krishna.
Many devotees are there. Maybe I can share a few minutes. I think we have 7 more minutes.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Please accept my humble obeisances. First of all, I mean, I was not really clear, like, your inspirational points. I mean, what was it, your message? From the things that caught my attention is the duty part Srila Prabhupada is mentioning, that everyone in this world is duty bound, to scientists and sages and the list of people, and Prabhupada is telling, but taking up devotion service, one can get off from that duty bound like that. The reason it caught my attention is just being in this world, there is expectation, like even at least at this point, the COVID thing is going, and there are expectation you're supposed to do or help or serve this way, that way, like that. So, at a grosser level, and at a subtler level also, like the teaching is clear, we need to give back something, because I was really thinking about the word duty. That's the reason it caught my attention. And the solution or antidote for that is, in Prabhupada is telling, surrender to Krishna or take up the process devotion service. But Balaram Prasad Prabhu nicely put it as, not getting into the Maya, being in the prayerful mode. And it's like the same things we do in devotional, in the mode of service to Krishna, or like devotion service that can take off that bondage of duty bound and elevate and benefit everyone. So these were my thoughts from my side from the discussion today. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. I will just read this, the English equivalent for Salpam Apyasya Trayate Mahato Bhayat. What profiteth a man if he gain the whole world, yet suffer the loss of his eternal soul? That puts in one compact sentence. I mean, this is exactly what verse 17 is saying. It's amazing, that nobody speaks these words first of all, This should be spoken first, I think, in all lectures and all. It is, if it's one's endeavor, maybe a total zero. or it is progressing towards 100% otherwise. So imagine that's all, Mataji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I was trying to connect all these verses from the beginning when Narad Muni started speaking. It was, I was speaking on Sunday on verse 15 also. There I was just trying to look at this connection where Narad Muni is just like counseling Vyasdev. I was feeling that different people's preaching have different effects. Some people may preach and their preaching program goes for maybe 2-3 years. Some people preach for in the same program for 20 years. And when it comes to Prabhupada, his preaching work is still going on. And Vyasdev's preaching work, which started 5,000 years ago, is still going on. And Narad Muni is trying to just give a course correction to Vyasdev, saying that you have done a great thing, but what is this? It is all useless because you haven't glorified the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And all the future generations are going to be affected just because of this. So he was giving a correction to Vyasdev. And if we see in the beginning verses, Narad Muni is directly putting the point. He's putting the essential point, saying that there is this mundane literature and there is this, he speaks about the crow class and the swan class literature. And immediately he comes to the point saying that if you give sense gratification to all these people, they are simply going to be attached to sense gratification. And it seems that from this section onwards, that is 16, I think, Taseva Hetu and the previous verse 17 and 17 onwards, he's trying to explain the philosophy behind his correction. Like till verse 16, he was just giving the corrections, and after 16, that is 17 onwards, he's trying to give the explanation of why what he's spoken is correct. And in this connection, I see that 17 and 18, especially these two verses, he is trying to put forward that you don't have to endeavor for any happiness in this world, because happiness comes on its way, just like misery is also coming. Because Vyasdev was trying to give so much happiness to people through fruitive actions and all these yagyas and all that. Narad Muni is saying you don't have to give anything like that, but just give them this philosophy of Bhagavad Dharma, and that will elevate them through the from material to spiritual. So that is my understanding. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Anyone else have any last comments? Shatarupa Mataji, are you trying to say something?
You're on mute.
No, Mataji said no. She's not saying.
I wasn't trying to say anything.
No.
But
You could still say.
7:31. But
Yeah, 7:30.
these verses seem, for me personally, these kind of verses, these two, and there are a few in Bhagavad Gita, which say that even if you slip, there's always hope. So that actually has played a major role in my faith. Just knowing this reassurance and acceptance from Guru and Krishna's side, even if I slip, there is hope. That's actually really helpful, because anyway, that's very inspiring for me. Of course, it doesn't give a license to take things lightly, but at the same time, genuinely, if we have, if we regret for certain things that we have done in the past or doing now, that regret, genuine regret, is actually purifying and accepted by Guru and Krishna. So that's what I have. My thoughts are, my inspirations are. And one thing I want to say, I'm showing up as ISKCON Naperville because yesterday I was trying to play with my Zoom to change my name from Shatrupa Didi so that it will show up maybe in Bhakti Shastri classes as ISKCON Naperville rather than Shatrupa Didi. So I was playing with it and it's showing up. So it's not a temple account. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Lingaraj Prabhu,
Thank
for
you.
arranging this. All of you have a wonderful Krishna conscious day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna.